Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
Hello, everybody. Welcome and a very happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us on PTL. Appreciate you being here. For those of you that could be listening on the FM/AM dial, old school, right? Or you could be on the Occupy Democrats Network, the Washington Press Network, TikTok, Twitter, X, as they call it, all different sorts of social media platforms. And we appreciate you being a part of the show today. And we have a lot to get to today. We have some very special guests that are going to be joining us. And we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But I want to start off by telling you this, because I mentioned this a little bit yesterday to start the show, that InfoWars, I think most of us would agree, InfoWars, zero credibility. Alex Jones is an absolute despicable human being. But I mentioned that InfoWars was attacking me, defaming me, lying about me. I had Dr. Peter McCullough on the show last week, and that interview went viral. Peter McCullough retweeted it, and some prominent people were tweeting at me, people from Newsmax. I've had requests from people that want me to be on their shows. Why? Well, he's a controversial doctor, but when he goes on shows, he's not really pushed. He's not really pressed. He did an interview with Joe Rogan that went viral, and Joe Rogan is not going to press him on the issues. Joe Rogan, not a really smart guy, and I'd like to think that I'm somewhat intelligent and smart enough to be able to challenge people when they say things that don't make sense. So we had an interview for about 45 minutes and agreed with some of the things Dr. McCullough said, disagreed with some of the things that he said because they weren't evidence-based. And now InfoWars has decided to defame me and lie about me, which I find interesting. I got to be honest with you, I've never heard of this guy. I've heard of InfoWars. We all know who Alex Jones is, the guy who said the school shooting in Connecticut didn't happen. He's despicable. That's what InfoWars is. So there's a guy on there who does a morning show, I guess Monday through Friday. I'll be honest, I've never heard of this guy before. But his name is Harrison Smith. The show is called American Journal. The word journal shouldn't be in any of the shows over there at InfoWars. So he does a show Monday through Friday, and he dedicates an entire 30-minute segment to my interview with Dr. Peter McCullough. Now, obviously, if you're a conspiracy theorist or have anything to do with InfoWars, you're going to take everything that Dr. Peter McCullough says, and somebody like me who pushes back on some of those things with a lack of evidence, you're going to attack me and go after me. So here's the point where the segment starts, and I'm going to play you bits and pieces of it, where this guy Harrison Smith on InfoWars calls me a guinea pig. Have a listen to this.
And I want to go to this now because it's, it really is a master class. And this guy, this Shapiro guy is such a typical, just narrative-following, unquestioning guinea pig.
So the funny thing about that is he calls me unquestioning when all I do on this show is question people that I disagree with. I have tons of MAGA Republicans on this show. I've had conspiracy theorists on this show. All I do on this show is I question people, and he's calling me unquestioning. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing the guy that I'm questioning. Folks, you cannot make this stuff up. He calls me a guinea pig. I guess he's calling me a guinea pig because I'm vaccinated. So I guess half the world is guinea pigs from what he's saying. So right off the bat, what he's saying makes absolutely and positively no sense. I'm unquestioning, yet I'm the guy who's questioning this controversial doctor, and he's the person that's not questioning me. When I disagree with people, or agree, but if I disagree with people, the first thing I do is question them. So that didn't make any sense at all. And here's where he goes on and starts defaming me.
I don't know what it is. So, like, even just from the very first exchange, right? He makes a very forthright statement, a claim. He makes a claim, right? He says the safety of the vaccine, like the vaccine is totally safe. What he exactly said was it did way more good than harm. Peter McCullough's like, what's your proof of that? It's like, oh, well, what's your proof that it's killing all of these people? It's like, well, you made the claim. Do you have any evidence to back that up? The fact that you start, casting the burden of proof on Peter McCullough means no, you don't have any ability to make that claim.
Okay, so first off, I never said the vaccines were totally safe. That's another lie put forth by this guy who looks like Jeffrey Dahmer's brother, by the way. He's wearing like the serial killer glasses. He literally looks like he's going to murder somebody and then eat you. This guy looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. He's like a lookalike of Jeffrey Dahmer. I never said that the vaccines were totally safe. I would never say that about anything. I'm not the one that needs to show proof. The doctor, 99% of infectious disease experts and people in the medical field disagree with Dr. McCullough. The overwhelming amount of people in the medical field agree with me. I'm not the one that has to show burden of proof, but if you would like to know, which I've said on this show time and time again, which I said in that interview, which this moron didn't bother to play, the Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike, is that more than half the world has taken the vaccines. There is no direct evidence that millions of people have died from the vaccines. It's just not there. It's an assumption that people make. So when you say you want proof from me, when I say the vaccines have done far more good than bad, there actually is evidence to prove that. Look at the information from the hospitals. And if you're going to say, well, the hospitals are lying, the doctors are lying, then I can't have a conversation with you. Now, everything this guy says is wrong about me. He misquotes me. He misrepresents, what I've said about the vaccines. And here's when he starts calling me a leftist. Have a listen to this.
And just everything, it's sort of emblematic of so many discussions that are had these days where it's the expert just saying very normal, calm things and the leftist activists just using a variety of rhetorical trickery to try to obfuscate and distract and confuse when he's the one that set this whole thing up and is leading the conversation.
Okay, so first of all, you want to use the word normal and calm, you frickin' idiot. Have you watched Alex Jones? Have you seen Alex Jones? Have you looked at this guy? Have you seen what, and look at, by the way, look at this guy. Looks totally normal, by the way. Harrison Smith. Looks like he's a guy from the show To Catch a Predator. I think that's where I recognize him. He's the guy that's sitting in the kitchen on the show To Catch a Predator who brings McDonald's and lube. Yeah, that's who Harrison is. Harrison Smith. He says normal and calm. Have you watched Alex Jones at all? Is there anything about him normal and calm? That's your boss, you frickin' moron. That's your boss. And I don't use trickery on this show. I use logic. Now, clearly, he didn't listen to the whole interview because over and over again, I'd say, okay, you're claiming 550,000 people died from the vaccines, right? That's what Dr. Peter McCullough and others are claiming. In this country, over 500,000 people died from the vaccines. And my question is, where is the evidence? You're the one making the claim, not me. So if you're claiming 500,000 people have died from the vaccines, you need to know their medical history. You need to know if they had an autopsy, a toxicology report, the circumstances of their death, and as I said, their medical history. I asked Dr. McCullough that, didn't have that information. I said, well, wait a second. How could you make that claim that all these people died from the vaccines when you don't know? And he's like, well, we're not getting the information from the CDC. So because you don't get the information that you need to make an assessment like that, you make a gross assumption that all these people died from the vaccine. And this guy, Harrison Smith, is saying, I'm the one that's not showing any evidence. I'm not the one making the claim that the vaccines are poison. You are. By the way, this guy, Harrison, probably was vaccinated. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Let me tell you, folks, I use this as a badge of honor when people at InfoWars say they hate me. Here's the point where Jeffrey Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer impersonator with the psycho glasses, the big psycho glasses, says that he hates me, and I just kind of chuckled at this because it's music to my ears. I don't want any of these despicable people to like me. I want them to hate me.
That's just, I hate this guy. I hate everything about him. But so I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. But let's go back to Brian Shapiro questioning Dr. Peter McCullough and being incapable of seemingly even comprehending a direct question or statement without warping it beyond recognition.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's exactly how it went down. I warped it beyond recognition, asking very logical and fair questions. And by the way, it was Dr. Peter McCullough that thanked me and appreciated my questions, and he's going to come on again, by the way. So Jeffrey Dahmer, again, saying that he hates me. Again, I use that as a badge of honor. Your boss and InfoWars are despicable. You spread conspiracy theories. You lie. You lie about basically virtually everything. 9/11 was an inside job. The vaccines are poison. They're killing millions of people. Dr. Fauci should go to jail. Fuentes, a guy who is a known Hitler lover, you give them a platform. You give pro-Hitler people platforms on your shows. It's nothing but nonsense so that you could make money, and I'll get to that in a moment. Now, here's the point in the interview where this guy is just so blatantly lying about my medical history, which clearly he doesn't know. He makes the claim that somehow I got COVID after I got the vaccines, which is false. We'll get to that. But here's Jeffrey Dahmer from InfoWars himself lying about my medical history because he doesn't know my medical history. Have a listen to this.
He just said, I believe the vaccine saved my life. What does that mean? What does that mean? I have a feeling Brian Shapiro got vaccinated, got COVID, and almost died of COVID. That's my supposition. Because why else would he say that the vaccine almost saved his life? In his mind, he got the vaccine, he got COVID, he almost died from COVID. He thought, man, if I hadn't gotten that vaccine, I definitely would have died. What else? What other option is there? Who says the vaccine saved my life? That is impossible to know. Did he never get COVID? So he got the vaccine. He never got COVID. Now he says the vaccine saved his life. No. He got the vaccine. He got COVID. He got extremely sick with COVID. In his mind, he wasn't killed. It didn't go even further because he had the vaccine, which made his, case of COVID lesser than it would have been.
Well, I'll tell you what other option there is, you Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike conspiracy theorist dope you. You're wrong. You have no idea what you're talking about, just like anybody else that hosts a show on InfoWars. You just speculate with lies. So I'll set the record. By the way, I've said this on the show for years now. I got COVID way before the vaccines were available. I'm a juvenile diabetic. My immune system is not as strong as the average person because of having diabetes and no fault of my own. I got COVID before the vaccines. Let me repeat that to this Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike talentless clown. I got COVID before the vaccines were available. I was in the ICU for 2 weeks, and I almost died. And the good doctors, real doctors, not demon sperm doctors, infectious disease experts, they gave me remdesivir, who people on your network say is poison. They gave me antibodies. They gave me steroids, and it saved my life. And for months, it took me to recover, but I did fully recover. And then, when the vaccines were available, I took the vaccine, I got boosted, and I got COVID multiple times after being vaccinated. Somebody with not a great immune system, a juvenile diabetic. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened, Mr. Dahmer, before you eat me. It was a minor cold, the sniffles, multiple times. I tested positive. I got the sniffles. And the people that I listened to, not Jeffrey Dahmer lookalikes on InfoWars with zero medical history, but my personal physicians and one of my good friends who is an infectious disease expert and has been for decades, all told me the vaccines most likely saved my life. So I listened to them and not idiots like you. And yes, you won't retract what you said, just like everything else on InfoWars, unless you're sued for hundreds of millions of dollars and then forced to apologize like Alex Jones did when he said the Sandy Hook shooting didn't happen and they were all paid actors. You know nothing about my medical history, and you're so ignorant, you can't seem to understand the fact that maybe Brian got COVID before the vaccines were available, which is exactly what happened, and I can prove it. And maybe the vaccines did save my life, but you're a moron with no medical experience. So you go with that false narrative like everybody else on your network does. Now, before I end playing the audio from Jeffrey Dahmer III on InfoWars, I want to play you a short clip from him at the end of this segment, just to give you an idea of how unhinged he is and so many others on InfoWars. Listen to what this Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike, Harrison Smith, says about the vaccines, and then we'll go from there.
McCullough. And again, this is important because the people that did this to us, the people that created this virus, allowed it to spread all over the world, and then introduced a fake vaccine that was, in fact, a designed kill shot, a soft kill weapon that has killed tens of thousands.
A designed to kill shot. So the guy is saying, I don't have any evidence when I say the vaccines did more good than bad. And this guy goes on InfoWars, literally goes on InfoWars, talking about me, and says that the vaccines were a weapon used to kill people. That's his verbiage, not mine. And he goes on the air, sadly with a large audience, and puts out, again, more medical disinformation, the Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike on InfoWars, attacking me, misrepresenting my opinions. All I've said about the vaccines are as follows. Listen to your personal physician, make a personal decision with actual infectious disease experts, your personal physician that knows your medical history. Don't listen to morons on InfoWars. Don't listen to idiots like Rand Paul, who's, by the way, an eye doctor and a moron, okay? Don't listen to people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with zero medical experience. And don't listen to people that don't have any real evidence or proof, but they just make assumptions, right? If an athlete drops dead and dies, I'm going to give you a quick story of exactly what I am talking about. And it hits home right here in Las Vegas. A beautiful young 13-year-old girl. She was playing soccer. She dropped dead and she died. Tragic story. Horrible. My thoughts go out to her family. All the morons across the country, including right here in Las Vegas, the MAGA idiots with zero medical expertise, claim that she must have died because of the vaccine. Oh, they were all over social media. They were putting her picture up. This 13-year-old girl, she dropped dead. She must have died from getting vaccinated. And while the mother is grieving, and she hasn't even buried her daughter yet, tragic story, she has to listen to these morons. And what did I say? I said, let's wait and see, because we don't even know if she was vaccinated. Well, guess what? We learned two things from the mom in an interview. Number one, she wasn't vaccinated. And number two, she had a heart condition. She shouldn't have been out there on the soccer field to begin with. Did any of these right-wing idiots say, I'm sorry? Did any of these right-wing idiots retract? No, they didn't. Morons like this Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike on InfoWars. And if he doesn't look like he's going to molest your kids, or if he doesn't look like he's going to murder and eat you, he goes on InfoWars, and then he starts lying about me. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Mr. Harrison Smith from InfoWars with the psycho glasses, who looks like, these are the same people that say all the undocumented immigrants, they're going to go in and they're going to rape your kids. I think this is the guy who looks like the guy that's going to do that. And he's a coward, because I reached out to his producer and I reached out to him personally. Will he debate me? Will he have me on his show? No. But he wants me to show the proof. Meanwhile, the doctor says 550,000 people have died of the vaccines with no real evidence to prove that. And he's the one who says the vaccines were created to kill people. Depopulation is what they say on InfoWars, with no evidence to back that up. These are the same people that think that Anthony Fauci should go to jail, that it was an intentional, and they wanted to kill millions of people. But they're the ones who want proof from me when it's clear that half the world has taken the vaccines. Let me repeat that. Half the world has taken the vaccines. 99% of infectious disease experts, those in this field, say that the vaccines overwhelmingly are safe. Would I say that there are no side effects and you can't die? No, I would never make that claim, because it's not true. But meanwhile, this guy goes on the air and he can't understand why I would say the vaccine saved my life. Gosh, that doesn't make any sense at all. When I got COVID before I got the vaccines, and I almost died, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then I took the vaccines. I took my boosters. I got COVID multiple times. Not only did I not go to the hospital, but I felt better, almost back to 100% in 2 days. And my personal physicians believe that the vaccine saved my life. So does a friend of mine who happens to be an infectious disease expert of 40 years. But I'm going to listen to this turd on InfoWars, and then he talks about being normal and being calm. I guess he doesn't think I'm calm. Meanwhile, his boss is Alex Jones, who yells into a microphone saying that the Sandy Hook shooting didn't happen. Oh, yeah, and by the way, they're making money off my content. And you know how they're making money? The link to my interview, right underneath that interview on InfoWars, on this Jeffrey Dahmer's website on InfoWars, underneath it, listen to what they're selling on there. Listen to how they make money. You want to talk about snakes? Get 40% off on bodies now, the perfect answer to your whole body support. Introducing next level foundational energy from Dr. Jones Naturals. Save 25% on Ultimate Fish Oil today. Power up with Nitric Boost, now 40% free. Wait, it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. Our fan favorite Turbo Force Plus, it's now 40% off. Save 40% off DNA Force Plus. Keep Alex Jones in the fight against the NWO. Please pay us and contribute. InfoWars Platinum is back. 25% on our latest line of products. It's back. Get $10 off Silver Bullet Silver. Get DNA Force Plus and the real red pill plus combo 50%. They are snakes. They are pill snake salesmen. That's what they are. They sell these pills. I'm sure none of them are proven to work or do anything. Perhaps the only pill that Alex Jones has ever taken that works is maybe Viagra. I had his ex-wife on this show. She did this show last year. She said that Alex Jones abused her physically. I believe her. She said that Alex Jones would urinate in cups and leave them around the house for his, at the time, wife to clean up for him. You want to talk about normal? You want to talk about calm? Your entire network is based on lies and propaganda. Your entire network has been discredited. Your entire network, the reason why it even exists is because of the guy named Alex Jones, who was sued for defamation, hundreds of millions of dollars, for saying that the Sandy Hook school shooting didn't happen, when all these innocent children lost their lives and were gunned down. And your boss, Mr. Jeffrey Dahmer, your boss, said that they were actors. While these young children, sadly, are 6 feet underneath the ground, Alex Jones made these parents' lives more difficult. Alex Jones knew. He knew that this school shooting was real just as much as you know that the vaccines have helped more people than hurt people. You know that as well. But the reason why you guys say these things, these salacious, untrue things, is because you know it'll get you hits. And you know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there and a lot of idiots that will buy $60 Bibles. They will buy $400 Donald Trump sneakers, and they will buy Ultimate Fish Oil from your entity. They will buy DNA Force Plus, whatever the hell that is. They will donate to Alex Jones. Some despicable people will do that. Your network is a joke. You are a joke. You peddle conspiracy theories and lies so that you can make money. You're no better than Candace Owens, who spreads bigotry about transgenders. You're no better than Matt Walsh, who spreads bigotry about people who are gay and people who are transgender. Why do they do it? Are they just despicable human beings? Yes, probably. But they do it so that they can make money. And they lie. And they do it every day so they can make appearances to make money. They spread bigotry and they spread lies, and you are a coward. Why don't you come on this show and tell me why you hate me so much? Because I do hate you, and I just gave you the reasons why I do. I hate anybody who's a part of InfoWars. I hate anybody who's a part of that network. You'll give somebody like Fuentes an opportunity, a Hitler lover, or Kanye West, you'll give them an opportunity to spread their Jewish hatred on your platform, and you call your show American Journal? There's nothing American about you. The word journal you should never use. There's nothing journalistic about you. You're a conspiracy theorist buffoon is what you are. You're a talentless clown is what you are. And you want to go on the air and try to defame me? I guess I triggered you, didn't I? Because I'm one of the few people in the country that challenged Dr. Peter McCullough. Hey, and guess what? Because I challenged him, he appreciated it. And he had nothing but nice things to say about me on social media. In fact, he wants to come on again. So why did it go viral? Why? Was it because he's a controversial doctor and he destroyed me like you would claim. No, it's because I challenged him. Because when he went on Joe Rogan's show, Joe Rogan is a dumb meathead, and he didn't challenge Peter McCullough. I did, as I will challenge anybody. And I find it so interesting at the beginning of the segment, you made the claim that I unquestion things, which is so dumb and bizarre of a statement to make, because all I do every day is I question things. I interview people that I disagree with on this show every single day. And that's why I had Peter McCullough on, because I questioned him, just like I would question anybody. And you go on the air every day looking like Jeffrey Dahmer with your very sexy glasses. You go on the air every day, and you could claim that aliens are probing you and Alex Jones. You go on the air every day, and you claim that the vaccines were built to intentionally kill people. But you don't want to be questioned, right? I'm the one that unquestions people. Well, I have a question for you. Since you think I'm an unquestioned-like person, Mr. Harrison Smith, also known as Jeffrey Dahmer III. Why won't you come on this show? Do you not want to be questioned? Why won't you interview real doctors that are not selling books or making money off of COVID or selling nitric boost on their websites? Why don't you ever interview people that disagree with you? I do it every day. Want to answer those questions for me? I think I know the answer. Because you're a coward. That's why. Because you're the one who doesn't want to be questioned. You'll attack everybody. I'll have anybody come on this program. I've had people who praise Adolf Hitler on this show. Now, I've attacked them and I've gone after them for their bigoted statements. I've had people like Peter McCullough on. I've had Trump surrogates on this show. I had Vivek Ramaswamy on this show. I got into a 45-minute yelling match with Larry Elder. I'll go after anybody and I'll debate anybody. If they're willing to come on this show, I'm willing to debate them. You, sir, are a coward. And I thought I recognized you from that show, To Catch a Predator. Maybe I'm wrong. Allegedly. I'm questioning you. I'm questioning whether you're a pedophile, since you like to call everybody else pedophiles that disagrees with you, just like so many people do on the far right. You're the pedophile. I thought I recognized you from that show, To Catch a Predator. I could be wrong. There he is. There he is. What a doofus. Did this guy ever get laid in high school? I don't know. What was this guy doing in high school? Mr. InfoWars overlord. You know he was bullied his entire life. You know that's what it is. Look at this guy. That's the guy who's the coward. Well, guess what? Harrison Smith, Jeffrey Dahmer, can I call you that? I give you an open invitation. You can come on this show when you like, and I will question you. But you won't take that opportunity. You'll just spread your right-wing propaganda on InfoWars. And you're pathetic, and you're a joke, and you're a danger to this country. But hey, good luck selling your DNA Force Plus. Good luck with your line of products and your energy, 40% off Bodies Now. Very credible medication. Very, very credible. Good luck selling those products. How do you get up and look in the mirror in the morning? All right, Jeffrey Dahmer. Have a nice day, sir. And I will continue to question people, and I will continue to go after despicable human beings like yourself. You know, it is interesting, before we take a break, it is interesting that there are a lot of musicians out there, celebrities. They're outspoken when it comes to politics. Most of them are on the right side of history. But there are those that lose fans and lose money because they're willing to speak out against bad people like Donald Trump or the alt-right in this example. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a friend of mine, I've been a fan of his music since I was in middle school, man. His name is Richard Patrick. He is the lead singer of the band Filter, an extremely successful band. He's also one of the founders of 9 Inch Nails. He's been outspoken when it comes to politics, when it comes to the alt-right. He's on the right side of history, but he has lost fans because of it. And Richard Patrick, the lead singer of the band Filter, will be joining us next on the show in about 90 seconds. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this with Richard. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP. Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news. Mention this ad and you'll receive 10% off. Call Pioneer Air today. 702-831-4840. That number again, 702-831-4840.
My name is Hunter Kane, and I'm talking with you for a call to action for our veterans in Clark County. Who is Hunter Kane? Well, I'm a decorated combat veteran, veteran community leader, and candidate for Clark County Commission. You know, no veteran has served on the commission in nearly 30 years, which is why our veteran homelessness, unemployment, and suicide rates are out of control. So here's the call to action. June 11th, vote veteran, vote Kane for Clark County. Let's rally behind someone who's been in the trenches, who knows the sacrifices, and who's committed to making a real difference. Join the campaign by searching Elect Hunter Kane on social media or go to www.electhunterkane.com.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Residents of Las Vegas, Ward 5, are you ready for a brighter future? I would like to introduce myself, Dr. Erica Smith, your People's Choice for City Council, with a vision for progress and the fortitude to make it happen. I am committed to moving us forward. I am not just a candidate, I am a fighter for you. With myself on the City Council, you can expect a real change and a community that thrives. Vote for Dr. Erica Smith, because together we're building a better tomorrow. To learn more about me and my campaign, go to www.ericaforlasvegas.com, paid for by the Vote Dr. Smith Committee.
Voters want safe gun reform, ban military assault weapons, including AR-15s, have universal background checks, and red flag laws. I am Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, progressive independent candidate, fully transitioned transgender woman, former lieutenant governor candidate for Nevada in 2022, where I received 7,212 votes in the Democratic primary. Follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. Donate to my campaign bot fun account and stay progressive.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you're just joining us, yeah, InfoWars decided to do a 30-minute segment about me. This guy who is like a Jeffrey Dahmer. Picture up, Harrison Smith. Lies about my medical history, misrepresenting my opinions on just about everything. But I will say this, I wear it as a badge of honor because he said he hates me. Obviously, I've triggered him, and people like that. Like I said, I wear it as a badge of honor. So the guy joining us next, the opposite. I love this guy. I've been a fan of his music for, I don't know, going on 30 years now. His name is Richard Patrick. He's the lead singer of the very successful alternative rock band Filter, formerly a founding member of 9 Inch Nails, and Richard joins us right now. Richard, it's great to see you, my friend. How you doing?
Thank you for having. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very good, loud and clear, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, life is great. We just got back from a huge tour across the world, and we went to Europe and all of the UK and Australia and Auckland, and it was pretty amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah, I remember talking to you about that, and people love your music all over the world. I want to start by asking you this, a political question. because we've had conversations about this. You're a liberal guy, and you don't apologize for it, and you shouldn't. You're on the right side of history, and at times you've spoken out against Donald Trump, even in your music.
Yeah.
And you've told me that you've lost fans because of that. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, sadly, it's just gotten so tumultuous, this political environment that we're in, that when I say things like F Trump or whatever, I even in Australia, there was a guy that we have a song called American Cliche, and I replaced some of the lyrics with, instead of saying get on the bus, I say F Donald Trump. And he literally was in the audience, and we have it on video. He like takes his filter hat off, and he has his phone, and he like flips off the hat and then flips me off, and then gets mad and he's all mad. And I'm like, it's just my political opinion, dude. It's punk rock. Like, does anyone remember punk rock? Like Joe Strummer, John Lennon, Al Jorgensen from Ministry.
Yeah.
I said the same thing about George Bush during the Iraq War. I thought the Iraq War was made up bullcrap, and it was a fight for oil. It was a land grab,
which it was.
Yeah. And
right.
I was right about it. And,
and you've also performed overseas for free for the troops. You've done a lot for our brave men and women in uniform. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your former bass player served, and
Frank Kavanaugh, who's a regular on Alex Jones's show.
Yeah, isn't that ironic?
That's bizarre.
That is. I mean, but isn't it sad that we live in a world now where, when you're on the right side of history, or even if you disagree with somebody, that they're not going to buy your music or go to your show, or they'll flip you off, like what happened in Australia.
Yeah.
Because you say something like that. But yet on the other side of the totem pole, if you went up there and said F Joe Biden, which I know you never would, but if you did, that guy wouldn't have a problem. The same guy wouldn't have a problem with it at all, right?
Yeah, it's wild. It's just, you cannot say anything about Dear Leader. Like, they will not, the Trump supporters are just so cult. It's a cult, and you cannot criticize Dear Leader without them just losing their crap and like boycotting my band.
Well, what would you say, Richard? What would you say? And I'm sorry about that. What would you say to somebody like a Ted Nugent, who all he does is talk politics on stage, or the band Stained? I used to like the band Stained. Aaron Lewis is crazy. He's a crazy right-wing lunatic, and he goes on stage, and all he does is bash liberals. He writes songs about liberals, but they don't seem to have a problem with that.
I do. I mean, I'm not a big Stained fan anymore, but at the same time, I do respect his talent, and Aaron's always been a nice guy to me, but yeah, he's just wrong. Sadly, the thing that these Trump supporters don't realize is they're being lied to. They're being lied to. He's lying to you about the election. Mm-hmm. He's lying to you about how much money he has and where he gets it. He's a bad guy. He hates democracy. He doesn't care about democracy. He doesn't care about the peaceful transference of power. He doesn't care about that. He just wants to avoid jail, and he's running for president to avoid jail and to be in power and to stay in power for the rest of his life. He doesn't care about America.
Yeah,
he cares about his rich friends, and he cares about power, and that's it.
And you're not the only person that has, been outspoken politically, and I respect the heck out of you for it. There's a lot of other bands, even a band like an Incubus. I remember you remember the song Megalomaniac, where he's talking about George W. Bush, but I don't believe they got as much flack back then as somebody like you gets now.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's because of social media, or maybe it's a cult? I don't think anybody would say George W. Bush supporters back in the day were cultists. We might have disagreed with them, but I didn't think they were cultists. I feel like in today's era, the Trump base, they're cultists. That's what they are, in my opinion.
It's a different breed of political crazy. They're in a cult. He could poop. He could like take a crap on the White House, and people would think it's awesome.
Yeah.
He could kill someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd be okay with it. Like,
right.
Well, I guess it's okay. Like they're it's a cult. It's bizarre. And it's so embarrassing because listen, when I go around the world and I talk to people, I talk to them. Like I have these VIP things that I do where I meet the fans one-on-one and I hang out with them. And it's like, there's like 20 people there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, when I meet them, I'm just like, what do you think about American politics? And they're like, what are you guys doing? What is wrong with your country? Why is Donald Trump allowed to be running again?
It's a good question.
He's a crook.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing when I talk about like, they're like, Trump's running again. Like he's going to gain, what if he wins the next election? And I'm like, I hope he won't, and it's just, I feel so embarrassed for America when I travel abroad.
I feel, Richard, there's a lot of people that feel that way across the world, that they're laughing at us. That this guy, Donald Trump, is even allowed, to run for office again. Very dangerous and weird times we're living in. Again, if you're just joining us, he is the lead singer of one of my favorite bands of all time, Filter, also a founding member of 9 Inch Nails. Do you listen, a lot of other very famous musicians around. Do you have these types of conversations with them? Like, have you ever had a political conversation with Maynard from Tool, or of course you're tight with 9 Inch Nails and of course Trent Reznor? Like, do you ever have these types of conversations with these kinds of people?
I mean, it's brief. I mean, because everyone's a liberal. I mean, like everyone, I'm not going to say Trent's a liberal. I'm just saying, like, most of my friends, most of the people I hang out with are just like, they're just beside themselves with like how did we get here? Like, how in the hell did we get here where Donald Trump is actually someone that's revered by so many people on
how did we? How do you answer that, Richard?
And it's so bizarre because it's not even the Republican Party anymore. It's not like the Republican Party of like of George Bush. I mean, right. It is the whole party is Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's Matt Gaetz. Of it.
Sure.
It's
right.
Jim Jordan. It's it's guys like, I mean, Kevin McCarthy was kind of part of the old guard of Republicans that understood that elections mean something and that you're supposed to have, a peaceful transfer of power. You don't protest it and deny it. You don't deny an election, right. Like, and even Kevin McCarthy, I mean, just sycophant, he goes to Mar-a-Lago 2 weeks later because right. President Trump wasn't eating, remember?
Right. Which is a lie. Yeah. He's a coward. Yep. And isn't it interesting that McCarthy, right after January 6th, he said Donald Trump should bear some responsibility for what took place. And now he's no longer the speaker. And now Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to out Mike Johnson, who's another weirdo, another right zealot.
He's trying to like get he's trying to get the bill across the table with Ukraine funding and right. Taiwan and all that, and Israel and everything. And he's going to have to work with Democrats and get Democrats, which is the way the government is supposed to work, by the way.
Right.
It's you want both sides to participate, and it just can't. It's and that whole thing, it was supposed to be this massive red wave, in the last election, and it turned out to be, they have a majority of one right now.
Richard, do you agree with me that the abortion issue to me is going to be the nail in the coffin for Donald Trump? And I don't know what's going to happen in this Stormy Daniels case. I hope he does get convicted, but I think the nail in the coffin for Donald Trump is he's the reason why Roe versus Wade was overturned. He's the one who put these Supreme Court justices on there, and now he's saying, well, leave it to the states, but he's forced to own it because if not for him, This wouldn't have happened in Arizona. This wouldn't have happened in Alabama. I think it's the nail in the coffin for Donald Trump.
I think there's a few things, but I think the economy is huge. I mean, the economy is raging. It's amazing right now, and I think that unemployment's at an all-time low.
Right.
Biden's created 15 million jobs, and I think that speaks for itself. I think that President Biden has done a great job. I mean, all this stuff with Israel and Hamas and all that's happenstance. That's not it's not because he's in power.
Yeah. What do you make of that? Where they want to blame Joe Biden for Hamas, a terrorist that's been around since the mid 80s, by the way. Yeah. They want to blame Joe Biden for this Iran response. They want to blame Joe Biden for everything, but
because they have nothing. They have nothing else. I mean, they're trying to impeach him. He didn't do anything. He lent his son some money to buy a truck. It's just absolute bullcrap.
It's nonsense.
And I just can't believe how low and like how just amazingly low everyone on the right has become. Like just Trump's he's a scumbag. He's a liable rapist. He's done unspeakable things to women. I mean, it's just you go down Richard, the line. You go Richard, down the line. It's
evangelical right still supports him.
I know. It's bonkers.
Evangelical Christians. They call themselves wholesome Christians. They talk about God every day. Guys like Charlie Kirk, white supremacist Charlie Kirk, and these people they call
Trump's married 3 times.
Right.
And he cheats on his wife with Stormy Daniels and then pays her off with hush money.
Yeah.
From the campaign.
What does Melania Trump, you think, is going to be going through her mind during this trial? Does she even care anymore?
She's got Louis Vuitton bags. I mean, that's what she ended up with. She ended up with Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci, and and she lives in New York in Trump Tower, and she that's what she wanted when she was when she was from Ukraine.
Richard, I know that you're a big Hillary Clinton fan. You voted for her. Why do you think she lost in 2016?
Disinformation. I think the misinformation that is being spouted on the right is so insane. They have had a campaign against her since Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. I mean, they want to blame her for what Bill Clinton did, and it's Fox News. It's the Fox Newsification of America. The fact that journalism, I mean, look at Fox News. They have no credibility anymore, and they shouldn't because of the Dominion lawsuit. They lost $800 million in the Dominion lawsuit because of defamation, because they lie.
Yeah.
If you're a journalist, all your whole thing is I tell the truth and I tell the facts only. That's being a journalist. And they have no credibility anymore because they lie.
You're right. And, going back to Hillary Clinton with the emails, that would be like if you or me, if we decided to delete our phones or computers before any investigation. That's not against the law. And that's what Hillary Clinton did. Whatever she did with her servers was legal. Doesn't matter what she did with them. She could have thrown them off a cliff. But there was no investigation at that time. She also testified under oath about Benghazi. There were 8 investigations about Benghazi led by Republicans. And then they found absolutely nothing, just like they're finding nothing with the Joe Biden crime family.
Well, Kevin McCarthy said himself that we created the Benghazi number to mess with her numbers. He said it over the mic. He said it out loud. Like we created the Benghazi, investigation, and look at her numbers today. Like they did it to discredit her, like based on nothing.
What advice would you give if you worked in the Joe Biden campaign today? If there's something right now that maybe he's not doing to your liking, or something that you think he could do better to help him win in November, Richard, what would that be?
Just keep pounding away that Trump's a liar. He's lying to you. Mm-hmm. He's lying to you. Like, they just have to make that clear. He's a effing liar.
Yep.
And he doesn't care about you. He cares about power, and he cares about his rich friends and his richness, and Vladimir Putin.
You're right.
He is bought and paid for by Vladimir Putin.
No
he
question.
wants to get rid of NATO.
Yeah. Wants to rip up our Constitution. He wants to rip up parts of our Constitution. He's writing love letters to Kim Jong-un. He never criticizes Vladimir Putin. In fact, he criticizes Ukraine more than he criticizes Vladimir Putin. You're absolutely right. So I agree with you as a whole. I think Joe Biden needs to be more aggressive. I like the fact that Kamala Harris, who, by the way, was just here in Las Vegas the other day, she's doing the tour, the abortion, talking about the abortion issue, which I think is important. She should be out there more. Joe Biden needs to be more aggressive. I don't care how old he is. Constantly be more aggressive. Exactly what you just said. Explain to people the lies of Donald Trump, and we'll have to wait and see what happens from there. Before I let you go, I got to talk to you about your tour this summer. I know you're. I would imagine you're doing some shows in the summertime. I love your latest album. It's the best. Vintage Filter. What do you got going on here the next couple months, and where are you going to be touring?
Well, we're working on new music, so I have constantly. I've got about 15 new songs for a new record.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm going to go on tour with Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and Ministry again on the Freaks on Parade tour in August, all throughout the United States. All throughout the United States. It's going to be amazing.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Alice Cooper is on our side politically. Last I checked.
I don't know. We don't really talk too much about it. It's mainly, hey, dude, how you doing? How's the voice feel? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, but Al Jorgensen is on our side. Al Jorgensen is absolutely up in arms.
And Rob Zombie's awesome, dude. He puts on such a great show. I've seen him so many times.
Yeah.
Are there any musicians out there that are just like douchebags to you? Like you're just like, oh boy, I don't want to go on tour with that guy.
I think the only one would probably be something like an Aaron Lewis or I mean, I think Aaron Lewis is a nice guy personally, but like, I don't think we would get along.
No, I don't think you would.
I don't think we would get along. And I probably think like, Ted Nugent, I wouldn't get along with that guy.
No, I don't think a lot of people.
I mean, he's a thrill kill guy. He kills animals for the thrill of it.
He's a psycho, and his hero.
Like I understand buying meat and being like, I hate to say it, but steak tastes good, and I don't sit there and watch the animal get torn apart and and
he's
shot.
A psycho. He's a psycho.
Yeah,
let's just call for what it is. He's a psycho. Yeah. Well, Richard, I'll say this in closing, man. You're a good friend, and we've always had great conversations, and I look forward to hearing your new music. And you got to let me know when you're back out here in Las Vegas, and keep the fight, my friend. And I know, full disclosure, a few weeks ago, I was really frustrated with these MAGA people, and we had a nice conversation, and you calmed me down a little bit. So I do appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. You can always call me anytime you want.
Thanks, Richard. You're the best, my friend. Love your music and love your passion, and you are on the right side of history. Keep it up. And we'll talk to you soon, Richard. And I appreciate
Thank you. Fight the power, brother. Keep going. Do your thing. We need you. We need your voice.
Same as you,
and you can debate anybody, bro.
I tried
you are amazing. You are a very great debater, and I'm proud to know you, and I'm glad you're on our side.
You bet, brother. I am a master debater. People have called me that before. Anyway, Richard, I appreciate you as always, my friend. You're the best. I love your music. I always have, and you're even a better person. So thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon, Richard. Okay?
Thanks, brother. It. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody, and I love Las Vegas.
Richard will be back in Las Vegas. He puts on a great show. If you don't know who Richard Patrick is, if you've been living under a rock, he's the lead singer of the band Filter. They've been around for decades and decades and decades, and he's the founding member of 9 Inch Nails. He is a brilliant musician. Hey Man, Nice Shot is probably one of the biggest songs. Would you say, Justin, that Hey Man, Nice Shot is probably one of the biggest alternative rock songs, not just of the 90s, but like of all time?
For sure.
Do you remember the movie The Cable Guy?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you remember the scene where Jim Carrey is dunking and he breaks and they're playing Hey Man, Nice Shot?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's such a great scene. And of course, Take a Picture is also one of my favorites. Richard Patrick's an amazing musician, and he's a really good friend. And I also remember when I lost my sister last year, we spoke for a while, and he talked to me about addiction, and he's just a really good dude. But it is kind of unique because I've always loved his music, and he's always been one of my favorite musicians since I was like 10 years old. So it's cool that, he watches this show, and he's a fan of the show too. That means a lot to me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to take your phone calls. And then I have a very special guest coming in studio here in hour number 2 who's running for office here in Las Vegas. Her name is Erica Smith. But we are going to take your phone calls when we come back. I played you some audio from Jeffrey Dahmer, also known as Harrison Smith from InfoWars. Very sexy glasses he wears. And he was bashing me for 30 minutes with my interview I did with Peter McCullough. Completely mischaracterized my opinions, what political affiliation I'm from, when I got the COVID shots. I mean, everything that he said about me is basically a lie. So we'll get your thoughts on that. What do you make the fact of InfoWars is trying to go after me because I challenged Dr. Peter McCullough? So we'll talk about that when we come back. Yes, we will. And we will also, ladies and gentlemen, be talking a little bit about Donald Trump's hush money trial, of course. Jury selection has already been underway the last couple days. We'll get into that a little bit. Mayorkas, they're trying to impeach him on the Senate floor. We'll talk about that as well. The number to call, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, maybe you had some thoughts on this Richard Patrick interview I just did. I love Richard. He is the best. Number to call, 702-221-7283. And again, the number to call if you'd like to be a part of the conversation is area code 702-221-7283. Your call's on the other side of the break. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Residents of Las Vegas Ward 5, are you ready for a brighter future? I would like to introduce myself, Dr. Erica Smith, your People's Choice for City Council, with a vision for progress and the fortitude to make it happen. I am committed to moving us forward. I am not just a candidate, I am a fighter for you. With myself on the City Council, you can expect a real change and a community that thrives. Vote for Dr. Erica Smith, because together we're building a better tomorrow. To learn more about me and my campaign, go to www.ericaforlasvegas.com, paid for by the Vote Dr. Smith Committee.
Voters want safe gun reform, ban military assault weapons, including AR-15s, have universal background checks, and red flag laws. I am Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, progressive independent candidate, fully transitioned transgender woman, former lieutenant governor candidate for Nevada in 2022, where I received 7,212 votes in the Democratic primary. Follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. Donate to my campaign bot fun account and stay progressive.
My name is Hunter Kane, and I'm talking with you for a call to action for our veterans in Clark County. Who is Hunter Kane? Well, I'm a decorated combat veteran, veteran community leader, and candidate for Clark County Commission. Do you know no veteran has served on the commission in nearly 30 years, which is why our veteran homelessness, unemployment, and suicide rates are out of control. So here's the call to action. June 11th, vote veteran, vote Kane for Clark County. Let's rally behind someone who's been in the trenches, who knows the sacrifices, and who's committed to making a real difference. Join the campaign by searching Elect Hunter Kane on social media or go to www.electhunterkane.com.
Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news. Mention this ad and you'll receive 10% off. Call Pioneer Air today. 702-831-4840. That number again, 702-831-4840. All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. check out my friends at Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. The owner, Brian Slipok, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Brian. He turned 55. We're going to Denny's where he can order from the 55 and over menu today. I'm serious, by the way. It's going to be a lot of fun. Gosh, I'm not there yet. I turned 44 yesterday. Thank God I'm not there yet. Not to call you Brian old or anything, but Jackson's Bar and Grill has been around for a long time. I'll tell you that. Great food, great atmosphere, great bartenders, great gaming, great everything. It's my favorite gaming bar in town. Please check it out. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. We've been talking about InfoWars doing a hit piece on me. At least they tried to. They say they hate me at InfoWars. Yes, I use that as a badge of honor. They said they hate me. They said they believed I got vaccinated and then I got COVID. They said I'm not normal, I'm not calm, yet Alex Jones is their poster child for not being calm or normal. So we're talking a little bit about that, and we just had Richard Patrick from Nine Inch Nails and lead singer of the band Filter joining us, who's lost fans because he's open and honest about his political beliefs. And we're taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. Why don't we start off with Mark? Mark, what's going on, man?
Hi. I spoke to you yesterday. A pleasure to be on today.
Sure, thanks.
I worked in many hospitals. I'm an Army vet, and I worked in mass units, stateside hospitals, civilian hospitals. Mm-hmm. And I will give an open debate for $10,000. I'm not a rich man, but I will debate that man that is calling you a lunatic, that doctor, that fake doctor.
Yeah.
I will debate him on your show for $10,000 if I could prove him 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. So that's an open debate to him. You can pass that along to him because I'll trash.
What do you make of, I believe you, what do you make of somebody like him who claims that all these people are dying of the vaccines? He claims over 500,000 people in this country alone have died from the vaccines.
I got an answer to that, all right? No matter what anyone does in this world, they landing on the moon, 911, the very next day, you're always going to have people coming out saying it's a conspiracy, it's this, it's that. And he's forgetting that under the Trump administration, they came up with this vaccine. So Trump is trying to kill everybody, right?
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying?
I guess that's
in
what
reality,
they're saying.
Trump is trying to kill everybody?
Going by their logic, Mark, I think you're right. That's what they're claiming. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
it's absurd.
Now let's get to the point of two things I like to bring up. Number one, I have a reason as to why Hillary Clinton lost the election. The first one was that idiot FBI director Comey butted in a day or two prior to the election and said, well, Hillary Clinton really didn't do anything wrong, but that was a big scar. The second one is she neglected Michigan, Wisconsin, and the state I live in, Pennsylvania. Yeah. She did not go to any of those states, and that's what lost it to her. She neglected those.
Hey, Mark, I agree with you, and I've said that before. Hillary lost because she didn't do a good job campaigning. Mark, thank you for your service to this great country.
One more thing, please. One more thing, please.
Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
Did you hear what Brett Kavanaugh stated in the Supreme Court today on arguments?
I did not. That he likes beer? What did he say?
No. He actually stated this, and he's telegraphing what the Supreme Court's going to rule. He stated that, is it really necessary, and I quote, is it really necessary to charge these defendants with an insurrection when you have 7 other indictments on them? Do you really need to charge them with insurrection? That's like stating that man went in, murdered the storekeeper, and for armed robbery, then fled in the car with stolen car. But do you really need to charge him with murder?
He shot the teller. He shot the teller
on robbery.
He shot the teller and he shot 4 people in the bank, and then he killed somebody in a car accident trying to flee police. Do we really need to charge him for killing all those people in the bank because he killed someone when he was fleeing? Mark, I'm with you. These people are freaking nuts, and Kavanaugh is a piece of garbage. Mark, thank you so much for the phone call. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph is next up on Pushing Limits. What's up, Joseph?
Yeah, hey, Brian. First of all, hearing about that story about that Jeffrey Dahmer wannabe challenging you and all that.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this. That's the problem. Like I say, this is a problem with InfoWars. All they want to do is spread lies and hate, even bigotry to those who are telling the truth. But to me personally, like I say, I took that vaccine and I'm still standing. It makes me want to debate him.
Well, again, I say it again, Joseph. People on InfoWars and those kinds of people with no medical expertise at all, what they do is they say crazy things, they spread medical disinformation, and they say controversial things for one reason and one reason only, so they can sell their pills and sell their stupid stuff on their website and make money, and it's disgraceful. It's a disgrace.
My point, and that's my point exactly. That's why I don't watch the show. That's why I don't watch the show. I don't listen to that show.
Yeah.
I prefer listening to the news that are real, like ABC, CBS, NBC, and those other shows.
Sure. There are good journalists out there. The only reason why InfoWars exists is because of a horrific human being by the name of Alex Jones, who said the Connecticut school shooting didn't happen. Then he was sued for hundreds of millions of dollars, and he was forced to apologize in the same way that Fox News was forced to apologize with the Dominion voting machines. Joseph, I do appreciate your call, my friend. I got to move on to some other callers. Thank you very much for the call, my friend. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Roy. Roy's next. What's up, Roy? Hi, Roy. Go right ahead. Roy, are you there?
Hey, Brian.
Hey,
how you doing?
What's up? Go ahead, Roy.
A couple of things. One, your guest was very good.
Thank you.
But what's interesting, Hillary Clinton, as far as I'm concerned, although I'm not a big Hillary Clinton fan, she won the election. I think the whole Electoral College is bogus. She won the popular vote. That's number one.
She did,
the other
you're right.
thing is that Trump has created, along with his Republican Party, the complete dumbing down of America.
Yeah.
To listen to some of the crap and bullshit that he spews and to have people believe in this is utterly remarkable.
Yeah.
And in looking at some of the things and reading some of the things on the trial, I think he's going to have a stroke. For him to sit there for 6 or 8 weeks, I don't think he can survive it.
Well, that's I won't care. Quite frankly, the world will be a better place. But the bottom line.
But one.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing, I think it's a good line if you want to use it. I heard my wife say it, that Donald Trump has been inside more porn stars than churches. So there goes his Bible.
That's a good one. I'm going to have to remember that one, Roy. I appreciate the phone call, sir. That's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet. Thanks, Roy. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Okay, let's go to Maga Julie. Maga Julie's next. Well, hello, Julie.
Hello, Brian. Today I want to speak about the editor of NPR that was punished because he was publicly saying why the network was lying through years. And at this point, if people are paying attention to the corporate media, they are being deceived. So Roy is wrong. So Hillary Clinton did not want the vote. Hillary Clinton paid Bernie Sanders to get out of to take him out.
That's not true. There's no evidence that Hillary Clinton paid Bernie Sanders anything. No, there isn't. I'm not going to entertain conspiracy theories. There's no evidence that Hillary Clinton paid Bernie Sanders to get out of the race. That's not true. That's just a blatant lie, and you have no evidence to back that up, and I'm not going to allow people to spread propaganda on this show. This isn't InfoWars. Where is your evidence? Okay, fine. Let's go with it. Let's go with your stupid statement. Where is your direct evidence of payment being sent from Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders? Where is your evidence that took place? And I don't want to hear you not answer the question and bring up something else.
Yes, absolutely. Ask the FBI to release.
The FBI has never, excuse me, the FBI has never stated or even accused Hillary Clinton of paying Bernie Sanders to get out of the race. You are not telling the truth, and you are brainwashed. So I'm not going to allow you to say stupid things like this on this show. You see, this isn't InfoWars. This isn't Sean Hannity or Mark Levin. This isn't OAN or Newsmax. I am an evidence-based person, and you are a conspiracy theorist. Propaganda MAGA is what you are, Julie. If you're going to come at me with facts. If you want to disagree with an opinion, that's fine. Let's have a debate. Hillary did not pay Bernie Sanders to get out of the race. You have no idea what you're talking about. None. Zero.
You are censoring me. You are censoring me.
All right, here you go. I'm going to censor you again. Click. Have a nice day. Sue me. Bye-bye. You see, this is how censoring works, Julie. This is my radio show, not yours, and I could hang up on you anytime I want. And yes, sometimes I hang up on people that are extremely stupid. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Kava, who's next. Hello, Kava.
Hi, Brian. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I understand how you're feeling.
Did you know that, Kava? Did you know that Hillary Clinton paid Bernie Sanders to drop out of the race, which, by the way, he never did? And the FBI will tell you that, according to Julie. I mean, how do you even have a conversation with these idiots?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, I have no proof of it, but my bank told me that Hillary did that. But I have no proof. I can't prove it, but you can ask my bank,
Absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. This is the InfoWars nonsense. It's the era that we're living in, I guess, where I don't know.
I heard about InfoWars. I heard about this. And frankly, it's stupid. They're dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. They run their mouths like they're saying something, like they did something. They did nothing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't condone their behavior for any reason other than they think that they're cool and they think that they're funny.
Yeah.
Because clearly their parents didn't raise them to act accordingly.
Yeah.
To show respect to others. So that proves it to me right there. And also, that was me on Twitter having fun with your friend. But you guys are awesome. Just ignore them. They're stupid. They're noobs. They don't know what they're talking about.
Kava, you are 150% correct. I appreciate you. And if people weren't going after me and attacking me and fabricating things about me in my personal life, and if they weren't trying to do that to me, then I would be doing something wrong. I love the fact that people tried as best they can to try to go after me and lie about me because they don't like truth on the air. That's just the bottom line. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan is next up on PTL. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how you doing? I'm just curious on the vaccine. You're very pro-vaccine.
Nope, I'm not. Nope, I'm not pro-vaccine. I'm pro-people deciding what to do with their own bodies. And I've never been pro-mandate. I've never thought that anyone should be forced to have a vaccine. I'm also not pro-conspiracy theory. So, I mean, so if you, just with all due respect, I wouldn't characterize myself as pro-vaccine. I don't push people to get the vaccine. In fact, I never have. Just to be clear.
Well, I'm just curious. Do you have any issue that they couldn't be sued for any liabilities if there was issues with the vaccine?
Sure,
Does that
sure.
bother you at all?
Sure. It absolutely does bother me. If
Okay.
somebody now, here's the thing though, every vaccine has risks. Every vaccine is not foolproof. We know this. Every vaccine that you take, they give you the risks. They make you sign a waiver. So if you're not willing to take a risk, and you sign off on something, it's very difficult to sue somebody. But again, what we know is half the world, more than half the world, billions of people have taken the vaccine. If it was poison or so dangerous, I'm pretty sure we would know about it by now. And some voodoo doctor that'll tell me, oh, we lost half a million people because of the vaccines. I don't have evidence of it. I'm just going to assume that because the CDC isn't releasing enough information. To me, that's a conspiracy theory.
Well, there's also a problem that you can't go out and test that stuff. So who are you going to believe in,
Sure. Here's where I'll answer
research.
that. I'll answer that for you. Here's who I believe. Not InfoWars, not right-wing pundits, not people with no infectious disease experience, not eye doctors like Rand Paul, not Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Here's where I do believe. Those people who are apolitical, that are on the front lines every day saving lives, that have decades of infectious disease experience, and my personal physicians who know my medical history. Those are the people that I believe. They're not hawking books. They're not making appearances on Newsmax or OAN, and they're not selling their stupid vitamins that don't work. Those are the people I don't listen to, and the people I listen to are my own personal physicians and people that are apolitical, that have a ton of medical experience. Yeah. Those are the people that I listen to.
I get that. But my thing is, sometimes you got to be open to listening to everything. I'm not a huge fan of everything you've said, but at least I'm willing to give you a chance and hear you out.
Okay, but I'm not. So you think if someone comes up to me and says that the earth is flat, is that somebody that you would listen to? If somebody comes up to you and says 500,000 people died from the vaccines, oh, really? Do you have evidence of that? Well, no, not really, but the CDC isn't giving me enough information, so I'm just going to make an assumption. I hear what you're saying. I'm open to hearing differences of opinions. It's why I had Dr. Peter McCullough on. But there's a difference between people that have differences of opinions and people that are not fact-based with their opinions.
So how would I missed that interview? What was your argument against his work? If that was the case,
it wasn't an argument. It was more of asking him for evidence, which he didn't have. He claims 550,000 people died of the vaccine. Then it goes to up to 550,000 people, which is, by the way, absurd. That's like a car dealership saying up to $18,000 savings in buying this car. That could mean $1. And then his excuse was, because I asked him, I said, do you have the autopsies of all these people that you claim have died from the vaccine? Do you know their medical history? The answer was no. And then he's like, well, I'm going to assume they died of the vaccine because the CDC is not giving me enough information. That is not a credible response, okay? And 99%...
Well, also...
Go ahead.
How would you prove him wrong? Like,
okay,
have you gone out and
so here's the thing.
Seen stuff with your own eyes?
I'm someone who has been vaccinated. I'm somebody who has had a number of boosters. I'm doing very well. Before the vaccines, I got COVID.
I hope the best. Yeah.
Before the vaccines, I got COVID and I almost died. My family's doing well. My friends are doing well. I don't know one person that has died from the vaccine. And I'm not the one making that claim. The doctor's the one who's making the claim that the vaccines are bad and poison. Not me. Everybody in the NBA, everybody in the NHL, everybody in the NFL, thousands and thousands of professional athletes, they've all been vaccinated. No proof that one of them has dropped dead from the vaccine.
A lot of them didn't really have a choice. I mean, the one guy couldn't even play. And
doesn't matter.
Why doesn't that not matter?
Because that's not the point.
It's supposed to be a free choice.
Because you're not listening to me. The point I'm trying to make is they were vaccinated and they're all doing fine. I don't agree that people should have forced to have been vaccinated, but that's not the point I'm making here. The point I'm making is
I get that.
All these people were vaccinated and they're doing fine. So the idea that these vaccines are poison is a lie. It's propaganda and it's conspiracy theorist stuff. I am not pro-vaccine. I am pro-evidence and fact-based data. And there is no fact-based data that would lead you to believe that millions of people have died from the vaccine. It's just a lie. It's not true. It's not based on factual evidence.
I mean, I've been hearing statistics that Greece is having some of the lowest populations. They're having a lot of high deaths. A lot of the insurance companies are paying out a lot of people.
Well, there's a lot of people that...
What would lead to that?
Well, here's my issue with that. Where did you hear the statistic from? Was it a credible statistic? Where did it come from? And I live in the United States of America, and I'm concerned about this country. Not that they want innocent people to die anywhere, but I try to focus on the United States of America and then go from there. So I hope I answered all of your questions, and I try to be fair. And like I said, I never thought that anybody should have been mandated or forced to get a vaccine. I think it's a personal decision.
Respectable.
It's a personal decision between you and your physician. And I could care less what John F. Kennedy Jr. says. I could care less what some clowns on InfoWars say and people that are not infectious disease experts. And I certainly don't want to hear from a guy who thinks you should inject yourself with disinfectant. My friend, I appreciate your phone call, okay? Thank you for calling.
All right.
Appreciate you. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take some phone calls on the other side. Lovely lady joining us in studio next. Her name is Dr. Erica Smith. Yes, a doctor, so I might ask her a few questions about this. She's also running for Las Vegas City Council Ward 5, and she's going to be joining us next, and we'll take some more phone calls on the other side. 702-221-7283. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. More phone calls on the other side. We'll get to your phone calls. I know some people are waiting patiently on hold. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
My name is Hunter Kane, and I'm talking with you for a call to action for our veterans in Clark County. Who is Hunter Kane? Well, I'm a decorated combat veteran community leader, and candidate for Clark County Commission. Do you know no veteran has served on the commission in nearly 30 years, which is why our veteran homelessness, unemployment, and suicide rates are out of control. So here's the call to action. June 11th, vote veteran, vote Kane for Clark County. Let's rally behind someone who's been in the trenches, who knows the sacrifices, and who's committed to making a real difference. Join the campaign by searching Elect Hunter Kane on social media or go to www.electhunterkane.com.
Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news. Mention this ad and you'll receive 10% off. Call Pioneer Air today. 702-831-4840. That number again, 702-831-4840.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Voters want safe gun reform, ban military assault weapons, including AR-15s, have universal background checks, and red flag laws. I am Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, progressive independent candidate, fully transitioned transgender woman, former lieutenant governor candidate for Nevada in 2022, where I received 7,212 votes in the Democratic primary. Follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. Donate to my campaign bot fund account and stay progressive.
Residents of Las Vegas Ward 5, are you ready for a brighter future? I would like to introduce myself, Dr. Erica Smith, your people's choice for City Council, with a vision for progress and the fortitude to make it happen. I am committed to moving us forward. I am not just a candidate. I am a fighter for you. With myself on the City Council, you can expect a real change and a community that thrives. Vote for Dr. Erica Smith, because together we're building a better tomorrow. To learn more about me and my campaign, go to www.ericaforlasvegas.com, paid for by the Vote Dr. Smith Committee.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Check out my YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. It's always growing. The Occupy Democrats page. You could be listening on the FM/AM dial. We're all over the country. And, of course, Jackson's Bar and Grill, a big supporter of this show. Please check them out at Flamingo and Jones. Great eats, great atmosphere, great gaming. Great place to watch a Vegas Golden Knights game. Man, the last game of the season is, well, at least for the regular season. We know they're a playoff team, is Thursday. I went to the game last night. It was a lot of fun. Check them out, Jackson's Bar and Grill. Brian Slipok is a huge Vegas Golden Knights fan, the owner of Jackson's. And it's his 55th birthday today, so he's going to be ordering from the Denny's menu today, the 55 and over menu. That's how he's celebrating his birthday. All right. So we've been talking about a lot here. Joining us in studio, she is, and we just had this conversation off the air, and I agree with what she just said because I consider her a very reasonable Republican. She is a moderate Republican. She's fair. She's honest. We agree on a lot of the social issues facing the country, and she is not, she doesn't look at Donald Trump as her messiah, which I appreciate as well, too. She's running for Las Vegas Council Ward 5, and it's always a pleasure having Dr. Erica Smith joining us in studio. Erica, it's great to see you. I like your shirt. I like your campaign shirt, and you're looking good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, this is my official campaign shirt. They can't see the back of it. The back of it says the People's Choice. It has the website on there, but this is the front. This was the design, the logo. It was done. The guy that did the logo for me is in Ghana.
Ooh,
So
wow.
yes, I outsourced some of my things over to the motherland, and it came out really great.
I like it because I was just saying it's green, and my favorite team growing up is the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
So, you know, I like the color too. So, Erica, you're a doctor. You're educated. As you know, a lot of people on the far right, not you, they like InfoWars. They like Alex Jones. They like these crazy lunatics that go on the air and spread medical misinformation. So, if it's okay with you, I want to play a couple clips of InfoWars, and the reason why they talked about me, and some of it is medical stuff, is because I interviewed a guy named Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. Peter McCullough is a heart specialist. He's anti-vaccine. He claims the vaccines have killed over 500,000 people in this country. Obviously, that's not true. So because I challenged him, and it was a 45-minute interview, and this doctor goes on InfoWars all the time, they didn't like the fact that I challenged the doctor. He had no evidence to back up his opinions. And this is what one of the hosts, named Harrison Smith, had to say about me. Have a listen to this.
That's just I hate this guy. I hate everything about him. But so I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. But let's go back to Brian Shapiro questioning Dr. Peter McCullough and being incapable of seemingly even comprehending a direct question or statement without warping it beyond recognition.
So he claims I warped something beyond recognition. The doctor claims that 550,000 people in this country have died from the vaccine. Erica, you being a doctor, my response was, where's your evidence? Do you know these people's autopsies? Do you know their medical history? Do you know the circumstances surrounding their death other than the fact that they were vaccinated? No. His response was, the CDC is not giving me enough information, so I'm going to assume that they all died of the vaccine. Is that a responsible doctor? I mean, you tell me. You're a doctor. Is that responsible? I haven't taken an exam of your teeth. I haven't done slides of your teeth. So I'm just going to assume that you have 12 cavities. It's the same thing. Am I wrong?
Well, you know, as a doctor, I always tell people I believe in evidence-based research and data when we're discussing things of medical origin. I think that we have to just be careful that we have done all the research. We have all the evidence so that when we're speaking on these things, it comes from a place of we've done all of the research. We have all of this is what the data, because we know people lie, but numbers don't, right? So those are the things as a doctor, those are the responsibilities that we have, is to follow the data, follow the research. Those things are, as scientists, have a biology degree. So, yes.
Forgive me. One other clip I want to play for you because I want you to respond to this. This is a guy named Harrison Smith who does have a large following in InfoWars. Listen to what he says about the vaccines in this clip right here.
McCullough. And again, this is important because the people that did this to us, the people that created this virus, allowed it to spread all over the world, and then introduced a fake vaccine that was, in fact, a designed kill shot, a soft kill weapon that has killed tens of thousands.
Designed to be a soft kill weapon. When you hear something like that in the medical field as a doctor, what goes through your mind? Because he's basically saying this is made to intentionally kill people, the vaccines.
Well, we know that there's been a lot of controversy around the vaccine, around COVID-19, the origins of COVID-19. Mm-hmm. The fact that it was lab created.
Right.
So those are true origins.
Sure.
Now, I don't know what their intentions were, but has killed a lot of people.
So that's evident, and I agree with you 150%. But this guy's talking about the vaccines. He's saying the vaccine was made to intentionally kill people. Some people even say, like on InfoWars, depopulation. Like when I hear that and the attacks on like Dr. Fauci and infectious disease experts, I mean, they're claiming that Fauci, some at least are claiming that Fauci intentionally created COVID, wanted all these people to die. And, this guy called it a fake vaccine. Would you consider the vaccines fake?
I don't know if they're fake. I mean, and I don't know what their intentions were with the vaccine. So, but I don't think the vaccines are fake. They're real.
If you don't mind me asking, were you vaccinated yourself?
I was not.
You were not.
I
Tell me
was
why.
not.
So tell me why. As a doctor, because, by the way, I don't see anything wrong with that. I've been on the air and I've said that I don't believe in mandates. I don't think anybody should have been forced. I try to be fair, right? I'm not one of those people that says we should force everyone to get 10 boosters. And I'm not one of those people. And I just had this conversation with a caller. But you would agree with me, right? The stats show that about 8 out of 10 people in the medical field are vaccinated.
Well, a lot of that was because of mandates.
Right.
Yeah, that was mandates.
So tell me why you weren't vaccinated.
I don't know if they would have taken it if they weren't mandated, because I know for me, they says, if you're working around this population, you should take a flu vaccine. I stopped taking all that stuff. Right. But that's just me, because I don't believe in mandates. I decided that wasn't the right choice for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you agree with me as a whole, because this is what I've been saying for years, is that it's a personal choice. You
Absolutely.
Listen to your personal physician, not somebody even like me or somebody on InfoWars. Don't listen to a voodoo doctor. Don't listen to, to an eye doctor or a dentist or anybody. Listen to your personal physician and make that decision with them, and I'm going to stay out of it.
Yeah, and I believe it is a personal choice. Everyone's body is different.
Right.
The way your body reacts to a vaccine is going to be different from the next person. And the thing is, you don't know how your body's going to even react, because that vaccine was unknown.
Right.
A lot. We've never encountered COVID-19. So all of this is brand new to everybody.
Sure.
And so, but for me, it was not a choice that I made to do.
Right.
I'm not vaccinated.
Sure.
No.
And I understand that, and I respect that, and I wasn't one of those people that attacked people for not getting vaccinated.
Correct.
What I was is one of those people that attacked, for lack of a better term, people that spread medical misinformation or want to tell other people what to do with their bodies. I don't like that,
Yeah, I don't want to be told what to do with my body, period. So.
All right, you know what I'm going to ask you next then, right?
Oh, I know where we're going with this.
So we agree there, right? And
Yes.
I try to be reasonable with people. And as I said before, I don't think anybody should have been forced to get the vaccination. And people will say, well, Brian, what would you say about all the employers that force their...
Absolutely.
And my response to that is, well, you had a choice. You could either not get the vaccine and get another job, or get the vaccine and do what your employer tells you to do. And, that's kind of... And I know a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but you did have a choice. We're not in Nazi Germany. But at the same time, that was my feeling on that. So Erica, I had a conversation with someone outside a Raiders game. This was a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and she has this huge sign up that says "My Body, My Choice." And
Okay.
I went up to her. They were anti-vaxxers, and I went up to her and I said, "Hey, I could be on board with that. I'm with you. I don't think you should ever be forced to get a vaccine. I'm with you." But then I said, "What about abortion? Doesn't the same rule apply?" "Oh no, that's completely different." What are your thoughts on that?
I knew we were about. I knew that's where we were headed. I just saw the signs all over. I was like, okay, we're about to talk about abortion.
I don't think I've ever talked to you about this issue.
I don't think we've talked about abortion. No. And this is the thing. It is your body, your choice. Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody telling me what I should do, especially if I have a baby growing inside me.
Right.
Women are the only ones that can carry a child and give birth and give life. And so I think for me, it is my choice to be able to make that. And I'm not saying it's an easy choice. I don't think any woman gets an abortion and says, you know what, this was an easy choice.
Right.
Because it's not an easy choice when you have life inside of you.
Yeah.
And you have to make a very hard decision
for
whatever reason it is. Now, we know there's some reasons. Maybe a woman got raped.
Right.
Maybe she got sexually, those reasons for sure. We have to give grace on those reasons.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And by the way, you're in the majority, as am I. Republicans and Democrats.
Absolutely.
60 to 70% of America believes in the woman's right to choose. Doesn't mean I agree with late-term abortion.
Correct.
I don't.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely.
I don't agree. Yeah.
At some point, we have to turn it off because it's now that's just
absolutely
cray.
Most of America agrees with us on that also.
Absolutely.
So we fundamentally agree on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about where this country is at right now? Where in Arizona, they just passed law that not only is abortion illegal, but no exceptions to rape or incest. How do you tell, God forbid, a 12 or 13-year-old girl that is raped that she should be forced to have that rape baby with 0 exceptions? Where are we at in this country where you have alt-right Supreme Court justices that are doing that?
And I'm going to call a child, because 12 or 13 years old, I consider that a baby, a child.
Yes.
That's a child. She's a child.
Yes.
Having a child, and we're talking about rape or incest, that's when these conversations get tough, because I can't say that that's the right thing to do to force. I mean, she's 12 or 13, that's a child.
It's horrible. I would say for any age, especially a child.
Yeah, she's a child. That's a child. And so I think that we have to really use common sense. We have to also look at what that says. And then, and we have to have compassion for people. I think what I don't see enough of is love for each other, compassion for each other. We're just out here. Some of the stuff is just like, we're just being mean.
Yeah.
And we're doing stuff that I just feel like
it's wrong.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
And the way we treat each other, the way we treat our fellow man is important. And I think that that's kind of the things that we're seeing more of, is people are just not treating people well.
So, Erica, are you concerned about this? I mean, you're running for Las Vegas City Council here, and I hear from people that call themselves pro-life. And by the way, I don't like that word. It's more anti-abortion than pro-life. But are you concerned when they say, well, Trump will say, we're just going to leave it to the states? It wasn't left to the state of Arizona. It wasn't left to the people. It was left to the Arizona Supreme Court. Are you concerned that one day that could happen in the state of Nevada, that maybe they change a law or move something around where the Supreme Court could rule on something, and one day in your state and in my state, in our city, abortion could be illegal and they can do in the state of Nevada what they did in Arizona? Does that concern you at all?
I think Nevada, we're in such a unique position that I'm not as concerned, because we are in a very unique position in our state, which I could say we're one of the few states where we have it in our Constitution. We're protected. So I'm not as concerned that that would be taken away from us. I think we're going to find a lot of people probably coming here seeking refuge. You're going to probably see it because Arizona's right next door to us. So I see that being what we're going to be seeing. I know that I've been to some grocery stores, and they have people out there getting petitions related to abortion.
Right.
I don't know if that's where you were going with this, but there are.
I guess where I'm going with this is we obviously agree on this, and most of America, I think, agrees with us. But the point I'm making is I think this is a losing cause for Republicans.
I think it is, because it's an issue that I don't think is winning, and I think that they know that, and they do know, and I think that they're kind of finding a way to kind of pivot and really be able to answer and talk about it in a way that most people can get on board with.
Why can't we just leave people alone and let people, I hear the Republican Party saying for years that we don't want the government involved in our life, keep the government out. But isn't it to the contrary of that, what they're doing? I mean, that's the part that I really don't. I agree. I don't want the government in our lives. These are family decisions and personal decisions that need to be made between family members and healthcare workers.
Yeah.
And just like, you chose not to get the vaccine, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, my God, how dare you? Listen, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. There are a lot of people on
but
the far
that happens.
And I'm saying that's wrong. There are people on the far left that would shame people.
Absolutely.
I think that's wrong. But I also think it's wrong the way they attack people for wearing masks. Let people do what they want to do. If they want to wear a mask, let them wear a mask. If they want to wear a mask in their car alone, I think that's a little crazy. Okay? It's a little crazy.
It's a bit crazy.
But it's your body, and if you want to wear a mask, go ahead.
Look, if you want to wear a mask in a car by yourself, I'm going to look at you and be like, okay, there's a little bit out there, but hey, if that's what you want to do, have at it.
Let me tell you, I'd rather have...
As long as you're not hurting people,
Right. I'd rather have people wear masks in their car alone than have people protesting in front of a Target store because they're selling pro-LGBTQ shirts. Like, it's just like, you're allowed to protest, but I think you're a loser. You're a special type of person to do something like that. But, hey, it's here nor there. What do you say we take some phone calls? We got some people that want to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it. All right. Number to call, 702-221-7283. I think we have one phone line open now. 702-221-SAVE. Dr. Erica Smith, she's running for Las Vegas City Council. She is a moderate Republican and somebody who I do have a lot of respect for. Let's go to Paula. Paula is first up on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Paula. You're on with Erica. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Regarding the vaccine, excuse me, I have a bit of a speech difficulty.
That's okay. You take your time. You take your time and you go right ahead. Yep. No problem.
The scientists knew about this COVID long before we knew about COVID. I have a scientist friend who runs, in fact, the Aaron Diamond HIV Institute in New York, and he was handling a group of scientists at Columbia University, and they had been working day and night to try and find a vaccine for this COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew about it long before we knew about it. And
well, let me ask Erica about that, because Paula, you're not the first person to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
So Paula is basically saying that, listen, they were, trying to come up with a vaccine way before even COVID hit. Do you believe that, what Paula is saying, and do you think that they knew this was coming way in advance?
There has, when this thing hit, COVID-19 hit, I did my own research.
Mm-hmm.
I like to read. I like to be well informed. And because I am a scientist myself, I definitely am always intrigued on anything scientific. So I do believe that there are signs that they knew about this ahead of time, that there were things that were known. And they do a lot of things, and we don't know about them until they want us to know. I think that's just,
I think I don't always believe our government. I'm not I wouldn't call myself a conspiracy theorist, but I'm with you that.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, Paula, for the phone call. We appreciate you. Good question. 702-221-7283. Before I take another caller, breaking news, Mayorkas has just been impeached without a trial. Am I wrong in saying that? He's been dismissed. My apologies. He's been dismissed. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has been impeached without a trial. The U.S. Senate voted on that, which I think is absurd. But anyway, we'll probably talk more about that tomorrow. All right, who do we have next? 702-221-7283. Let's go to Carl. Carl is next up on Pushing Limits. Hi, Carl. You're on with Dr. Erica Smith. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Brian, before I talk to the doctor real quick, I know you always try to tell the truth. Admit it. You have a huge crush on Julie, don't you?
You're asking me? Who are you? Julie. She doesn't know who Julie is. Julie is a caller who calls into this show, a MAGA caller who calls into this show, who I believe has a big crush on me. Go ahead, Carl.
I was like, who is Julie?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Julie is a regular caller on the show that I think has a huge crush on me. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Julian. Julian is next up on Pushing the Limits. Hello, Julian.
Hey, Brian.
Not to be confused with Julie, Julian. Go right ahead.
Correct.
No. Although I would like us to raise a fund so that way Julie can legally change her name, so that way she doesn't bring down the root of our collective name.
Fair enough.
So what you just said about Mayorkas, no, they dismissed the charges.
I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
Brian, you had that all wrong.
Brian makes mistakes sometimes, and Brian is wrong. I will own that. They dismissed the charges. Yes. He was not dismissed without a trial. Yes. I got that one wrong.
On two of the counts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for
sorry,
correcting me on that. I knew that. The words did not come out correctly, so I apologize for that.
No.
And by the way,
yeah,
I'm very happy to hear that because there was no ground that the Republicans could stand on in trying to get a trial. So I'm happy to hear that.
No, it's grandstanding. It's the difference between your guest right now and Republicans in a different place, which is
right.
Which is your guest right now is somebody you can reasonably disagree with. And so, actually, one of the points I'd like to bring up is the talk about late-term abortion and just more so how we talk about it. Given that, I think that is dangerous because I think that we talk about it like, oh, women go in and decide like last minute, like, nah, I don't want this, when it's less than 1% of abortions happen in the third trimester.
Right, correct.
And not only that, it's always when there is devastating medical news.
Yeah.
That when the woman is told, like, either this will kill you, maim you, or the baby is not viable, and it is a risk to their health. And so, while I think there's room for disagreement on many issues, just I think kind of how we talk about this one issue. And I just wanted to bring up this point because again, doctor, you seem incredibly reasonable. I just think that like language is important in how we talk about certain issues because it can frame it in people's minds.
Absolutely.
I absolutely agree with that. I love that you talked about the fact that a woman, maybe she's been told that she'll die during birth, or there's an issue with the baby that can't be resolved. Mm-hmm. So I think that those things are very important when we're speaking on abortion, because those things, we absolutely don't want the mother to die during birth, or if there's something going on with the fetus that needs to be addressed. I think that those things are, what you just said is absolutely reasonable, and thank you so much for calling.
I'm trying to remember, by the way, real quickly before I let you go, because I don't know if Erica knows. I know there was one Republican in office, and I don't remember who it was, when asked about this issue about a 13-year-old or somebody that's raped or somebody that wants an abortion in the state of Arizona, and they said, oh, well, they could just take a bus to another state. I'm trying to remember the Republican who made that statement, but it is so disappointing. I could use other words, but yeah.
It's insane, but also there are states that right now where they are trying to pass laws to prevent women from going to other states to get an abortion, even if it's, it's, or
ridiculous.
They're going after, they're potentially going after doctors.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
other states
that's
to perform
happening.
abortions.
And that,
Julian,
unfortunate.
Julian, thank you, by the way, for the phone call. Again, not to be confused with Julie. What do you make of that, where if a doctor wants to try to help somebody get an abortion, it could be a young woman who was raped, incest, whatever, they could go to jail, up to 5 years in jail. You're in the medical field. This is
just
insane.
ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But I
horrible.
believe that, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you take an oath to do the right thing by your patient, and that's just that's just crazy.
Crazy. Carl, I need to get Carl back on because his phone dropped off. Go ahead, Carl. You had a question for the doctor. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just trying to be a little funny with you, bro. Listen, the doctor, I have a medical background, and I wouldn't do this. I've gotten the vaccination. I gave it my wife to make sure she had it. We are both boosted. Anybody in our families have got the same. I know many, many, many doctors. They've all gotten vaccinated for it. And knowing people in hospitals, even though you get vaccinated, you can still contract the virus, but you get a very, very mild case. The most people dying in hospitals are ones who got the COVID virus and weren't vaccinated. It's not the people who were vaccinated who are dying. It's the ones who weren't vaccinated.
What do you say to that, Erica?
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think she disagrees with you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm tired of hearing all these right-wing shows and people saying you're going to drop dead as soon as you get vaccinated.
Yeah, well, obviously that's not true, and there are people out there that I will challenge. It's a personal choice, and if people think that it's too dangerous or they're, whatever the case may be, then go ahead and do what you got to do. Just don't tell me what to do. That's all.
Then why did 99% of all doctors agree that you should be vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
1% don't.
yeah,
You know?
there's a large percentage of doctors, those in the medical field. You're right, and I appreciate the call, Carl. There is a large percentage of people in the medical field that believe that the vaccines, for the most part, are very safe, and that doesn't mean they're forcing people to take them or should force someone to take them. But yeah, I think we agree on that. 702-221-7283, 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Gary. Gary is next up on Pushing the Limits. Hello, Gary.
Well, hello. I just want to say you won that debate, and what do you call it? With that doctor, the other doctor, not your guest.
Thank
you won that.
Yeah,
Now,
me and
that's as
Erica
far
are
as I
not
go.
debating, so no, we're not debating.
It's all downhill from here. All downhill. Doctor, I need to ask you a very important question. Do you know where you are? You're in the jungle. How did you wind up on the Brian Shapiro We Hate Republicans infomercial?
Oh, that's not true.
Whoever,
that's
no,
not true, Gary.
Listen,
You know that's not
whoever you hired, are you listening? Whoever you hired and recommended that, fire them.
Hey, Gary.
And hire me.
Hey, that's funny.
Yes.
Gary.
And what is your name? Who are you? Talk to me.
I'm Gary Johnson, Generated Johnson, and Deplorable Gary. A few other Alice's. Schmuck.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Gary.
Shapiro. Stupid. What? Stupido. Yes.
Gary, I have a question for you. I wouldn't call you that. Do I have more?
I'm afraid of questions. See, doctor, listen up.
Gary,
See where he's gonna go with
I
this?
want to ask you
Here
a
we
question.
go with the questions.
Gary, one question. Is that okay, Gary? Jeez, I'm sorry.
I'm
to
on
offend
it.
you.
Yes.
Do I have more Republicans or Democrats on this show?
I'm not keeping score.
Oh, you know the answer
I'm
to that.
really
Don't
not.
stop
It seems like I'm keeping score.
Stop it.
All right, I'll take your word for it. You're an honest man, even though you are my.
I've never
what do you
said
call
I
it?
hate
Not my-
Republicans.
You're not my enemy.
I've never said I hate Republicans. I've never characterized all Republicans as the same. You know that. I've never said that.
You
Gary,
never said it, but you do.
No, I don't.
Come
I've
on,
never
and I don't
said-
hold that against you.
No. So
You're-
Gary, disclaimer. I say this on the show all the time. Gary might have had a few too many to drink this morning. I characterize MAGA Republicans in the same group. I voted for 8 Republicans in the 2022 midterms. Oh yeah, by the way, I support Erica, and I supported plenty of Republicans. Stavros Anthony in Las Vegas and others. I support people that I think are good people, regardless of whether they have an R or a D next to their name. Yes, I'm very frustrated with the MAGA Republican group out there that look to Donald Trump as Cheeto Jesus, as their messiah. But there are a lot of, nationally, Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, who I disagree with on a lot of issues. I respect her. And the former governor, Chris Christie of New Jersey, Hutchinson. There are plenty of Republicans out there that I don't agree with on a number of different issues maybe, but I respect them. And then there's people that I don't respect, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Matt Gaetzes of the world, Jim Jordan's, people like that, if that makes sense. And there's Democrats I don't like either. Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib. There are extremists on the left that I'm not very fond of either. But I think we need more people like you that are more center-based, in the middle, fair.
Absolutely. I'm for everybody.
And I know that about
and with my race is actually a nonpartisan race, and so I will appear on nonpartisan ballot, Democratic ballots, and also Republicans ballots.
Right.
So just know that, if you live in Ward 5, I will show up on your ballot as Erica the Choice Smith.
Yes, and your website, correct me if I'm wrong, is ericaforlasvegas.com.
Yes, and
right?
and the FOR is spelled out. Yeah.
Yes, so Erica is spelled, because it could be spelled differently, ERIKA for FOR, LasVegas.com. If people want to learn a little bit more about you,
Absolutely.
they want to donate to your campaign, and I'm very happy to announce on May 3rd, I'll be saying a few words at your campaign headquarters at 6 o'clock. There's going to be an event that you're going to be holding there. I am honored I will be there, and I will speak on you certainly, and I support you in your campaign as well. And Erica even got me out to a Republican event last week. That's rare for me, and I actually had a really good time.
I did.
There were some really nice
had
people
a great
there.
time.
Yes, there were a few cuckoos, but most of the people there were very nice people.
Very nice people.
And they treated us very nicely, and I appreciated that. And I would definitely go back to something like that.
So shout out to Las Vegas Conservative Town Hall for allowing me to be one of the speakers last week. I enjoyed myself. If you want me to come out and speak, get with me. Find me. I'm easy to find.
We need more women in power. We need more, I would say, more women more minorities within the Republican Party. There are very few. I don't know why that is. I have some ideas of why that is, but we need more women in general in more powerful positions, and I know that there are some men in this country that don't want to hear that. I call those people morons, but we need more people in power like yourself. And it's always a pleasure, Erica, having you in studio. Please check out her website, erica4lasvegas.com, if you would want to learn more about her and possibly donate to her campaign. I know that would be appreciated, and I support Erica and her run for Las Vegas City Council Ward 5, of course. Erica, a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being here as always, and appreciate everybody in the calls and everybody watching. Subscribe to my YouTube page, please, at PTL Radio Show, at PTL Radio Show. I'm also very active. I might not be good for my health on X. And, of course, subscribe to the Occupy Democrats Network. It's only $5 a month, a cup of coffee. You support what I do. My website, PTLradio.com. Again, my website, PTLradio.com. We had like 2,000 people check out the website yesterday. It's a very new website, so that's really cool. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news.